The crisp morning air filled their home with refreshing vigor, hinting at the beginnings of a new season. Catherine woke up early, the dawn light streaming to the curtains, casting a warm, golden hue over their bedroom. For the first time in a long time, she felt a sense of calm. The weight of their recent conversation still lingered, but rather than feeling heavy, it instilled in her profound hope. As she made her way to the kitchen, she carefully prepared breakfast, each crack of the eggs echoing her determination to nourish not just their bodies, but their growing bond. When Alexander emerged from the bedroom, still slightly groggy but with a soft smile, it greeted her like a sunbeam. "Smells amazing," he said, leaning against the doorframe, watching her move with a newfound lightness. "Just a little something to celebrate our progress," she replied, glancing over her shoulder. "I thought we could have breakfast on the patio." He nodded in approval, the idea sparking joy in his eyes. Soon, they sat outside, the chirping of birds harmonizing with the gentle rustle of the trees. As they enjoyed their meal, they talked about not just their past, but also their dreams and aspirations. "What do you think about planning a short trip next month?" Alexander suggested, his fork pausing midair. "Somewhere we can explore together, just us." Catherine felt a thrill at the idea. "That sounds perfect. Just being together in new surroundings could be exactly what we need." As they began to discuss potential destinations, the intimacy woven into their words felt profound. They shared laughter over memories of past trips, those effortless days spent exploring cities hand in hand, filled with spontaneous adventures and joy. Yet, as their conversation flowed, Catherine couldn't help but think about her habits, the minor anxieties still creeping in. "Do you think it's too soon for a getaway? I mean, I'm still being challenged by my fears. What if we get there and I feel overwhelmed?" Alexander reached across the table, planting his hand over hers. "There's no rush, Catherine. We can decide together. It's important to listen to where we both are emotionally. I don't want to put pressure on either of us. This should feel good, not daunting." "I appreciate that," she replied softly, realizing just how essential this open conversation was. Being able to speak my mind without fear of judgment is something I'm learning to embrace. A year ago, I wouldn't have said a word about my hesitation. Their eyes locked together in understanding, embodying a shared commitment not to shy away from uncomfortable conversations. Just a few weeks earlier, that vulnerability had felt terrifying. Now it was liberating. As the days turned into weeks, they made a conscious effort to cultivate trust. Small efforts that made monumental differences. Each evening, they established a ritual of sharing a high and low from their day, a practice aimed at promoting communication and transparency. It allowed them to express their feelings honestly, enabling moments of joy to be celebrated and challenges to be tackled together. One night, while discussing their highs and lows, Catherine shared her struggle with self-doubt. "Today, I had a fantastic meeting at work, but I found myself thinking it was a fluke. I kept waiting for someone to call me out, to say I didn't deserve to be there." Alexander's gaze turned fierce with determination as he leaned in. "That's not true, Catherine. You earned your place, and every moment of your success is deserved. You are an amazing professional. You have to start believing that." She smiled, warmed by his unwavering faith in her abilities. "It means so much to hear you say that. Sometimes, it takes another voice to drown out the negativity. I really appreciate you being here for me. And I'll always be here," he vowed. "Not just in the good moments, but in the bad ones too. We're a team, remember?" Each passing evening solidified their commitment to each other, building a sense of safety in their relationship. They also started discussing boundaries, both personal and involving their family and friends, which felt like another layer of trust. Understanding that they both needed to feel secure in their decisions, they prioritized having each other's backs in social settings too. As their weekend getaway approached, Catherine still felt a whisper of anxiety. The journey toward healing was woven with vigilance, making sure they didn't just address surface-level issues, but transform their relationship at its core. On the day of their trip, she paced the living room while Alexander packed the car, her mind racing with possibilities. Doubt crept in again, but she took a moment to collect her thoughts. She had a choice. She could either let this trip be a cause for worry or an adventure to embrace. When they hit the road, she took a deep breath and turned to Alexander. I want to approach this trip as a chance for us to reconnect and explore a relaxed version of ourselves, without the weight of past mistakes hanging over us. That's the spirit, Catherine. Let's make new memories and let the past stay where it belongs, in the past. We're creating something new, something beautiful. As they drove toward their destination, with the sun setting in the rearview mirror, Catherine felt the fears begin to dissipate. She squeezed Alexander's hand, grateful for his willingness to meet her where she was, a symbol of the trust they were rebuilding day by day. The trip was filled with laughter, exploration, and a few moments of reflection about how far they had come. They hiked along scenic trails, immersed in the beauties of nature, shared meals under starlit skies, and laughed endlessly over silly inside jokes. However, on a particularly serene evening, as they sat by a glowing bonfire, the conversation shifted. They began to talk about their families, their histories, and the dynamics that had shaped them. I think my upbringing instilled in me a deep fear of vulnerability, Alexander admitted, staring into the flames. My parents had a challenging relationship, and I often felt that expressing emotions was a sign of weakness. Catherine nodded, relating to that notion. I get it. In my family, we never talked about our pains. Everything was pushed aside to keep up appearances. I carried that into our marriage, thinking I was being strong by not expressing myself, but it just built walls between us. That night, under a blanket of stars, they ventured deeper into the realms of their pasts, exploring the roots of their fears and hopes, with genuine connection and empathy woven into their discourse. Each word spoken felt like another step toward unearthing the wounds that had been buried for far too long. By the end of the evening, as they lay by the fire, exhaustion overtook them, but a profound sense of peace enveloped them both. They had confronted their fears, embraced their vulnerabilities, and solidified the foundation on which they were rebuilding their relationship. As they drifted off to sleep, side by side under a canopy of stars, they both understood that the path they were on would not always be easy, but they had taken a significant stride forward. Together, they were facing their past, redefining their present, and nurturing a future they both yearned to embrace. To be continued.